Great. All right. Well, the first thing we do is do a mini celebration of wherever we are, because the beauty of our situations is that no matter where we are, movement is possible. Movement is happening, even sometimes if we can't see it. And in the present moment, we have the full power to make any choice that we want to make about ourselves, about our situations, about how we see things. So tonight, let's talk a little bit about movement and what really is involved with movement. Sometimes movement starts with a feeling of being stuck. And so when we're feeling stuck, we feel blocked, depressed, angry, frustrated, resentful, disappointed, woulda, coulda, shoulda, confused, desperate, angry. We can feel poor, emotionally poor, financially poor, spiritually poor, physically poor. We can feel the physical aspects of being stuck, emotionally drained, physical exhaustion, not sleeping well at night, bad dietary habits, chronic things can even start to feel like they're worse or more frequent. And all of that happens when we feel stuck. And so what happens is think of a situation, just for the purposes of tonight, is think of either a situation that you're feeling a little stuck in. Meaning you're not moving maybe as fast as you want, as much as you want, as organized or deliberate or as an intentional that you want. So think of either something that you feel stuck in or something where you feel movement in and you want to expand or deepen or broaden or empower your movement. So in that context, and I've used this analogy before, sometimes it doesn't seem like we're moving even when we're stuck. And I've used the analogy of trees during the winter, how it looks like from the outside nothing's moving. When in actuality, things are moving, they're just slowed down. And nature slows down on purpose. It's part of the season. You know, the animal kingdom, things slow down on purpose. It's us human beings that get caught into that. We gotta be doing all of these things to experience peace or a sense of accomplishment, when in actuality, stuck might just mean things have slowed down. And if things have slowed down, geez, I wonder what the purpose for that might be. Our physical bodies, if we aren't paying attention, will force us to slow down when we go too hard. Right? We can get sick, we can get exhausted, it can show up in our health, and it's our body's way of saying, hey, pay attention. You're doing too much moving and you're not exercising any self-care. So it would do you value to slow down, and the purpose for slowing down might be healing, restoration, clarity, What else might a purpose for slowing down be?
Reevaluating.
Reevaluating. Anybody else? Okay, let's just go with those. I'm also going to add preparation. Preparation for the next thing. And it could be preparation for the next relationship, even though we're just moving through and coming out of one. It can be preparation for the next job, even though we might not even be in a job, or we may be moving out of a job. It could be preparation for a change in a family relationship. It could be a geographical move or a financial move. But a purpose for slowing down can be meant for us to give us time and space. Time and space to do these things. Like I said, when our trees in a winter will become dormant or much slower because they're preparing for the next cycle. So human beings we're always moving in cycles. But we don't allow ourselves to move in cycles. We don't recognize the cycles and we don't honor the cycles. And sometimes it can be counterintuitive to think that when we're feeling this or even feeling this, the first action might be to, instead of resisting it, instead of judging it, instead of thinking, I'm not supposed to be here, something's wrong with me, there's a whole lot of magic when we go, wait a minute, isn't it interesting that I'm feeling stuck or slowing down? What if I honor this space instead? What if I honor this stage instead? What if I honor this place between A and B where I am, instead of resisting it, arguing about it, fighting it, trying to justify or rationalize why I shouldn't be here and why I'm supposed to be somewhere else, or somebody else isn't supposed to be here, or they are supposed to be here, okay, and getting attached to that, or making it about anything else that exists outside of us. But that is our normal, natural tendency to seek to look for reasons why this should be wrong. Well, I'm going to argue tonight that being in this space could be perfect. Meaning it's right where the universe wants you to be in order to do these things, so that where you're going to next can be even better, more fruitful, more valuable. Did you have something, March?
Well, if you're stuck, sometimes it's great to be stuck. If you've been through something for a while, it's been going, and it's loop, and then all of a sudden you get to the point where you get stuck out of that, it's like pause before you can actually sit there and be able to look around and go, okay, now which of the paths in front of me are my better choice? Because if people just kind of, you run, it's just like relationships. You have a relationship, you get out of it, you jump into another one. And then you get out of that, and you jump into another one. Before you look, you got 5 relationships in a year, when if you would have just sat back and said, okay, fine, let me see. What's this? Let's watch. What am I all about? Who am I? What do I want?
Right.
And I got to find somebody that's sort of like that.
Right.
Give yourself a little time to be able to pick and choose the best angle for you.
Sure, and that's a good example. That's a good example of how we can be thinking that movement is good. Any movement is good, and it's preferable to being stuck or slow down or intentionally allowing time and space. Okay, because then we have to fill it. We automatically feel like we have to fill the space or fill the gap. Now there's reasons for that, because sometimes when this is happening, we can be in a state of needing a new marker. We can be in a state of pain. Okay, physical, emotional, financial, relationships, and we can be thinking that the only way to cure the pain is to move. Okay, and it doesn't matter which direction, it doesn't matter who the person is with, it doesn't matter the type of job, it doesn't matter whatever. It just, what matters is that I move. And that movement, that desire to move, is couched in thinking that the only way to either dull the pain, okay, or satisfy the pain is to move. Now, sometimes movement is good. Sometimes pain can be a powerful motivator to help motivate us to take a step forward. Okay? Well, I'm really angry, I'm really tired, I'm done with this town, I'm out. I want a fresh start. That can be a powerful motivator. Okay? And sometimes this can spur it. So, even the pain itself is not bad, and it can serve a useful purpose. The question becomes is the need in this space when this is going on is, can we just do this instead? And say, isn't it interesting that this is happening, that I feel stuck or a lack of movement? And what is needed? What is needed? I'll write that down. What is needed? Now sometimes we think we already know the answer to that question, and maybe sometimes we do. Okay? More frequently, we have no clue what the answer is. We think we know, but we're being reactive instead of responsive. And so the actions, what we think is needed, is going to be contrary to providing these things for us. In fact, it can make the situation worse. It can make things more complicated. It can send us off in a different direction. That while learning is still occurring, might cause additional pain. That could be avoided if we created some time and space to say, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Where's my foundation? Where's my center? Am I feeling empowered, or have I given other people or other situations or something in the past power to keep me here? Or am I deliberately choosing to slow down? So this is where responsibility takes place, because the first thing that's needed is to take 100% responsibility. And that means to actually release other people for being responsible for where you are, or other situations or events from the past, as being responsible or having power for where you are. The instant you start to take this, infinite and unlimited doors open. Because now you're in a position to take positive action that's going to lead you in a direction of your choice. And the biggest thing we can do is to take 100% responsibility. That means not playing the victim card, not playing the woe is me or the pity me card, paying attention to old stories that we might have about why things are the way they are, and instead calling BS on ourselves and saying, no, none of that's true, none of it matters. In fact, what if everything I believe about this person is absolutely true? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how we choose to respond in the present moment to it. And that means responsibility. Okay? That's where we're coming from.
Hey, what's up?
Dennis?
You are the individual. You are the one that facilitates everything.
Right.
You facilitate it. Sometimes you have situations that others bring to you, but you facilitate how your response is to these situations. And, you know, you have to look at a situation and go like, okay, what's the best response for me on this? You got to figure it out. Now, if you make a mistake, that's fine, that's human. But if you make a mistake again, then that's on you.
Sometimes it takes us making multiple mistakes before we get it. That's called learning. That's called the universe. And there's nothing wrong with that, because who hasn't needed the cosmic 2x4 to slap us upside the head and say, wake up, pay attention. You know, there's another way to do this, or I wouldn't do that if I was you. You know, type of situation. We've all been there. Okay? And so, but the question is the ideal thing is the instant we start to take full responsibility for it, that instantly gives us our power back. I was recently talking to a couple about this situation, is where they other situations that they have going on outside of them are driving dynamics in the relationship. Okay? But what if, I said, what if the situations outside of you don't ever change? Don't ever go the way you want them to? How does that impact both of you individually and the relationship that you want to create? Because there's their opportunity for power. They don't have any power over anybody else. They don't have any power. We don't have any power over anybody else's past, or how they're supposed to be, or the way they were supposed to show up, or what they're supposed to bring. The only opportunity we have is right here. And we can get so confused and so caught up in the drama that's going on out there that we lose all power to take care of our own movement, to give ourselves time and space, and to do any of these things, because we've given all our power away. Somebody else jerks our chain. Somebody else knows what buttons to push. And we, react like Pavlov's dog to their words, to what they're doing, to their beliefs and opinions, to their actions, or to the economy, or to politics, or to TV, or to friends, or to our parents. And we're just in the habit of giving our power away to tons of different people, situations, and events. And we're not so much in the habit of saying, wait a minute, no, you don't get a vote. Or you do get a vote, but it has nothing to do with my vote. Okay? And I'm going to start to shape my own conditions, create my own conditions. In the Army, they use a term called shape the battlefield, where I'm going to employ my assets. If I'm a general, I'm going to employ all of my assets in order to shape the battlefield so that when things happen, they happen in a way that either I can somewhat try to manage them, or I have resources in place that can impact. That's called shaping. Well, we all do the same thing in our families, in our job, with in our relationships. We are all shaping whatever it is we're participating in by the level to which we've assumed responsibility and our level to create this and to be in this kind of space. And if we're erratic in our movement, or we're stuck in the pain, we are powerless to shape anything. We don't know how to shape. We don't know what to shape, because our shape sucks. You know, our shape is out of alignment. Our shape is not feeling empowered. But the instant we start to shape and empower ourselves, that gives us the ability to change how we vibrate. And I left my magnets at home. The law of attraction, okay, we're attracting situations and opportunities to shape and create conditions. It's my next to show up available, my next favorite phase is create conditions. So how do I want to create conditions for fill in the blank? For more money, for more clients, for more business, for more education, for more respect at home with my kids, for more love and sex from my partner, from more friends, more peace, more joy. What conditions am I creating now, and what conditions do I want to create for what I want? And the more clear we are about what we want, the more empowered I can say, I want respect in my relationship. Okay. And remember, we've talked about values before. So respect is a value. But if I have respect in a relationship, I'm creating conditions for more respect. So what does it mean for me to create conditions? How do I need to show up available for creating more respect in a relationship? I have to be respectful. Okay, well, let's take that deeper. What does being respectful mean? Listening. Sharing. Being open. Allowing. Accepting. What's that? Honoring. Caring. Okay. See, you just threw out 10 words that can use to get more clarity about what respect means for you. Okay? For me, respect means the way I treat a relationship. Okay? Self-respect, to me, means the way I treat myself. Okay? So how do I treat myself with my words, with my emotions, with my energy, with my stories, with my past, with my present, with my relationships? What do I tell myself about myself? You know? What boundaries do I set for myself and around myself to honor my preferences? You know? What do I do to demonstrate self-respect? Okay, got it. Now, what do I want to do to demonstrate respect for others? Okay, if I can't allow myself to be myself, I cannot give you the gift of allowance. Does that make sense? If I can't treat myself with compassion, kindness, positive affirmation, then I can't give that to you. And I can't create that for you. I can pretend that I can. I'm just very limited. And so it's about, this is about getting to a state of clarity that goes, well, wait a minute, I'm feeling stuck here, so how do I want to create conditions for how I feel? How do I want to create conditions right now in this present moment for what's going on? How do I first take care of myself? Then, how do I next help be available for taking care of others?
But that's the key to the whole thing. It's how you are with you. Okay? Because I'll tell you, you guys know me, I can, for years, I despised me.
Right.
So when I despise me, guess what? I'm going to treat you like dirt because I hate myself.
Right.
You have to like yourself. You have to be that person. You have to be the person. It's just like love. When you love, you can't love others unless you love you. And that's a correlation there that I was just thinking about. If you love yourself, it's easy to give love to others.
Right.
And if you respect yourself, as opposed to what Rodney used to say, I get no respect. But everybody, you'll be able to respect others.
Sure.
If you disrespect yourself,
Exactly.
you disrespect a lot. And that's been a bad thing in my life for a long time, is the disrespect of me.
Sure.
And it's cost me dearly, very dearly.
There's a heavy price to pay, and we've all had situations where we've treated ourselves with disrespect. We didn't honor a boundary. We put something on us that we didn't own, that belonged to somebody else. We allowed somebody to treat us in a way that was inconsistent with our values. Okay? And so all of those things are opportunities to learn. And that's why what I say, if you're in a situation now, or if you've been in a situation in the past where, let's just say, disrespect was demonstrated, instead of trying to figure out why did this happen and why did this person do this, which you'll never get to the bottom of anyway because you're not inside their head and you're not supposed to be, is to say, the only reason I need to know is somebody disrespected me to teach me the value of self-respect. And they're demonstrating disrespect to me. I have an opportunity to learn about respect, to understand respect. Oh, if this is what it feels to be disrespected, how do I want to feel? I want to feel this. Oh, well, if I want to feel respected, how do I create conditions for respect? Oh, I've got to have a boundary out here. I have a boundary out here. And then I start to honor and demonstrate respect when I start to practice and honor those boundaries. In the absence of honoring those boundaries, I'm stuck in the loop of the cosmic 2x4. And either I get it someday or I never get it. And I keep attracting. I'm going to attract either more respect or more disrespect to the degree that I'm creating conditions within myself for the value of respect. And it's magical when we start to make this condition and we start to take full responsibilities that go, wait a minute, this is not what I want. That's a key question. Is this what I want? Yes or no? What do I want? Oh, I want this. Oh, what conditions? How do I create conditions for that? What values do I want to demonstrate and practice in order to create the conditions? I one time had a client who wanted to have more sex in his relationship, which is a good thing. I mean, hey, it's a good thing to have, okay? But he wasn't interested in creating the conditions for more sex to happen.
Oh, I got a comment.
Okay? So with that, I said, well, I understand what you want, but if that's the one thing you want and you keep going after that without paying attention to creating the conditions that surround that, you're never going to get what you want. Okay? So, where's tenderness? Where's patience? Where's joint responsibility? Where's communication? Okay? So if I go, oh, I want to create more sex and more intimacy, then I got to do my homework to say, well, what does that entail? What conditions are required to do that? And it applies in the business world too. So we're celebrating your successful launch, okay, in a direction for your new direction for your business and new movement for your business. Well, you sat back and said, what actions do I need to take? What do I need to demonstrate? Where do I need to be in time and space? Who do I need to be in time and space? How do I change my beliefs and my thoughts about myself? How do I put myself out there? And the logo and the business card and your business plan and all of that goes to you're creating conditions for successful business. Okay, so this all works in business too. So this is where clarity is a really good gift that you can give yourself, because the more clear you get about what you want and the deeper you dive into the conditions that are required to do that, the more you can actively practice and say, oh, today I'm going to practice making X number of phone calls because it demonstrates respect for my business, and that's a condition that I want to create. So that motivates you to action.
What if, I know I feel this a lot sometimes. I feel like I know the direction that I want to head, and I know that I even have a good idea what conditions would need to be created in order for that goal to happen. But creating those conditions, the act of doing that, the actions required to create those conditions are overwhelming to me. Because I feel like I'm doggy paddling through life, right?
Sure.
And I'm just trying to maintain some sort of order, and to throw something else into the mix feels overwhelming.
Sure.
Even though I know it would be the right move to make, to add anything into my mix or to take anything else out feels overwhelming to me.
Right.
So I get stuck in this sense of overwhelm, and then I shut down and the action just ceases.
I totally get it. And when that happens, the key place to go to is first within here, and you take a breath and go, whew, okay. Then, the key thing is to allow yourself to be where you are. Okay? See, sometimes that sense of this is we're not allowing ourselves to be at the beginning of our business journey. You want to already be making $50,000 or $100,000 with your photography gig. Okay? All right? And I get that. That's a good vision to have. Okay? But if you feel like you have to be there right now, then that illusion, and that if you're not, you're a failure. So all the little steps that you have to take to get there are, what's the point? Because I'm not there already. Okay? Will distract you and suck the air out of your dream and out of your energy. Okay? But realistically, you go, eventually I'd like to get to the point where I'm making $50,000 in my photography business a year. Okay, well, before I make 50, what do I have to make? 5. Okay? Oh, my goal is to make, how can I generate $5,000 of income? Okay? And what specific steps do I need to take just to generate $5,000 of income? Oh, well, that's only 10 packages at $500. I know I can find 10 clients out there, 10 parents in Cobb and East Cobb who would drop $500 for a Sweet 16 party just for the photos. Okay? So, okay. So then the amount of energy that you have to expend to achieve that is doable. It's not like you're going to eat the whole elephant at a time. Okay? But that, yeah, go ahead.
You said it. What I have learned for myself is respecting my pace.
Love that.
Is what?
Respecting my pace.
Respect your pace.
It's like when people come in my office, I realize when I go at other people's pace, I always set myself up for failure. Because it's not, John said it perfectly, like everyone, you think if you don't get to that 50,000 next tomorrow, you didn't achieve it. But it's the little steps in between. It's like my basketball team.
Right.
Last year I had a young team. How can I expect them to be, even though I want them to be, but I know that this year we was going to, the steps was us to be better next year.
Right.
And so It's just by respecting them. This is why when they say, "Dave, man, you don't get it," because I respect my pace. I don't go at anyone else's pace, and that works for me. And that's one part of respecting.
I love that phrase, man. Respect the pace. Respect the pace, and the pace is your pace. The acorn has everything it needs within the acorn to become the mighty oak tree. Okay? The only thing it requires is the time and space and the nutrients and the growth in order to accomplish it. Okay? We don't allow ourselves to be acorns. Okay? But an acorn, you stick it in the ground and you start to water it and take care of it, and then it takes some time even before it pops up out of the ground.
I feel like I can even articulate that. What I can't seem to figure out is what to tell myself to get from. What do you tell yourself when you're,
This is what you tell yourself. What David just said. You said, you know what? I respect my pace. I love my pace. And I create time and space within my pace to do the actions that I need to do right now. Okay? And that might be, this week it's make 10 new phone calls. Okay?
I think the time and space thing was key in this most recent vendor booth that I'm in, because I sat down one day at my desk and I was like, what would need to happen for me to do this fundraiser for the school to get in front of juniors that are going to be high school seniors next year before the end of the school year, because senior high school photographing season is May through October.
Right.
Most of those happen over the summer. So what can I do to get to juniors like right now?
Right now.
And before school is out, and I started looking at the timeline of what was already on my schedule and already on my docket, and adding in those other things. And I was like, I gotta move like tomorrow.
Right.
I have to reach out to so and so, or else this will never gonna happen. So that was more time and space oriented. Like I can get my head around that, but what I can't get my head around is sometimes more abstract stuff about how to honor my pace with self-care and things that aren't on a time frame. I have a harder time with.
I understand. And that's where this word here has to play out too.
Right.
Because it's not like you can do the business 24/7.
No.
Okay.
Right.
And so you know that going in. Okay? And that's part of this. Respecting my pace, or respecting the pace, is about trusting your ability to decide. And here's the thing, everything is a part of your pace. See, nothing is separate from it. It all goes together. So when you are taking self-care time, you're taking care of business. Okay? You know what? Today I'm going to spend some time and be present with my kids and my family. Oh, do I know and do I realize and do I acknowledge vocally that by doing that, I'm taking care of my business too?
It's being realistic.
Right.
If you go write down, I go write down 100 things. But
Right.
the thing is respecting when I say respect the pace, is being realistic with yourself.
About how fast it is.
Yeah.
How fast you can go for it.
Right.
And feel good that you know
Right.
you're going to do something. It's like I tell my wife with our daughter, it's her pace.
Yeah.
You know, she'll be 27 next week, but it's her pace.
Right.
I mean, we're not going to let her sit idle. We're
Right.
going to still, but it's her pace. She's not you, she's not me. And believe me, once she gets it, she's gone.
Right.
You know, but you keep pushing it, she'll never get there. And when she does, she won't be happy.
And another thing that can be helpful in addition to that is to pick yourself out some real world examples of successful people.
Right.
Okay? Because if you look at any successful person, they're not all business.
Right.
They had families. Okay? They had issues. They had illness. They had bankruptcies. You know? And so even the most successful photographer in the world, who now makes millions of dollars and is recognized internationally, I don't even know them, they have another life. And they didn't become, nobody ever becomes famous overnight. Whoever the world's most famous photographer is right now started out taking pictures of something until he earned his first $100. And then he earned another 100. And then he earned another 100. And then he bought a new piece of gear. Okay? And so honor yourself by allowing yourself to be right where you are. And to let that be enough. Okay? Let it be enough. Today I'm making 10 phone calls and then I'm spending 2 hours with my kids before they go to bed. That's okay. I'm a seed. I'm in the ground. And I'm planting seeds in my business and I'm planting seeds with my kids. Grant Cardone does a great book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And his whole thing with this whole thing about work-life balance is it's a bunch of BS. There's really no thing as work-life balance. Okay? The whole idea is to be obsessed and to be present in whatever it is that you're doing at the time. That's what he defines as being obsessed. It's like being all in. So when it comes to being all in with your family, you're all in. That's where your energy is, and you realize the value is there, and you're not feeling like it's taking any value away from what it is that you're doing otherwise. Okay? And then when you're doing something else, it's like being all in there, taking the massive action. Okay? But even he says in his personal story is, you know, he didn't start out with $1 million. He started out selling cars. And so, number one, it's okay to be where you are. Number two, you are where you are. Number three, be where you are. Number four, let that be enough. Number five, stay focused here in setting goals and saying, what's a realistic goal for me this year? X number of photo shoots, X amount of revenue, X amount of contacts. Okay, how do I chop that down? I was in another session recently with somebody who said, you know, you don't need a YouTube channel with 30 million views, you know, to make $1 million. You just need X amount of clients paying a certain amount every month. Okay? Yeah. And so, based on that, that makes it realistic. Otherwise, you go, man, how will I ever get, you know, I have a YouTube channel. I think I've got 5 subscribers. Hey, everybody, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm recording this. Subscribe. Okay? I've got 5 YouTube subscribers. All right? If I wait and think that I have to have 30 million before I record my next class, I'm dead in the water. You know? And we all would be dead in the water if that's how we looked at our progress. You know?
There's a photographer named Sue Bryce who talks a lot about this concept of chasing the work, not chasing the money.
Yeah.
So breaking it down to, I need to make this X amount. It's okay to know your numbers, but break that down into how many shoots you have to have per month.
Absolutely.
That amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and chase the client, chase the work.
Go for that.
Chase the money.
Right. And in the meantime, be present.
Right.
And give yourself permission to move in and out of the workflow to the family flow, to the personal care flow, no, to where you're not feeling guilty. Oh, I should be doing this right now, and I should be doing that right now, and I'm not. Okay? Be willing to say, nope, okay, I'm not going to do that today, and I feel okay about it. And I'm going to do this instead, and I'm going to allow myself to enjoy it. Okay? But this requires taking 100% responsibility, because we can make other people responsible for our energy. We can, oh, I have to, you could start to feel negative about your business because of the energy and the emotions that it requires to manage it. And then you might doubt whether it's your thing, or whether it's worth pursuing and all of that. And it can really suck the air out of whatever it is we want to achieve. But when you respect the pace, respect your pace, I'm going to be using that. I might have to pay you some royalties at some point there.
That's my word right there.
You get a T-shirt, man. Respect your pace.
Both ends. I respect my wife's pace.
Yeah.
I respect my daughter's pace.
Right.
It's like the acorn you were saying, we respect the rain when it comes, or it's not rushing anything.
Yeah, nothing rushes.
It's because so many, I tell people so many variables. I have learned that. That's my wife. As I respect my pace, I respect her pace, but also set my boundaries for the pace. It's complicated, but
Yeah.
Because it's like me coming here to Atlanta. I needed that pace. I needed it to make me feel the way I feel today. But I knew I needed that for myself. And you may lose a lot on a lot of things that may fall off. But you have to I respect my pace, because at the end, it's only me. I have to be happy. I can't make anybody else happy unless I'm happy. And the ones who are understand that will be there.
And another thing that PACE stands for is positive attitude changes everything. Okay? I didn't think that up. That's been around for a long time.
Plagiarizing.
But the fact that it's come up in tonight's discussion is divine time and order and on purpose, is that remember the pace is also about remembering the pace. That it's your attitude about what you're doing that shapes conditions for your experience and creates the attraction. So it's about respecting the pace and where you are in time and space, but also practicing that positive attitude that all is well and that you're in the flow and that you say, you know what, I trust myself to make the right decisions when it's time for me to be doing massive action and focused like this on my business, and when it's time to turn my business completely off and to be over here with my friends or family or church or at the spa or at the gym, because nothing's really separate. You're creating, by taking care of these things, you're creating conditions for your business. By taking care of your business, you're creating conditions for more family time. So thank you for sharing your business experience with us, because it's really relevant. And, we're all at the beginning of some venture, right? Or some spot in our lives that we're trying to get to. So, are you really feeling stuck, or are you just slowing down? And is it okay to be here? Is it okay to be here? And the question really becomes what is happening in this space anyway, and what is needed to happen? What do I want to happen? And then how do I take full responsibility to shape what is happening for me here? And apply that.
That's the key.
Do you need to go? Sure, go ahead. That's okay. Thank you, Jenna, for coming.
That's the key. You have to, everything has to feel good. But also, what you have in business is, when you start off, you need to get your product available. Start seeing your product.
Sure.
With her, what she's doing with photography, pictures, they have to get around, neighbor will tell neighbor, and the other neighbor will tell, just all that. Within, once you show the clarity and the professionalism, how you do it, it's just a matter of how people like what your work is,
sure,
what you're doing. I think if you do that, it just kind of like overlaps.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys were saying about patience with it. And there's so many people that aren't in they aren't patient. They want to make the big money right off the bat.
Right.
Well, you can't.
Right.
You're not going to be able to. You're going to just have to get, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you start moving, you won't be able to catch up.
And it's like building a house. You know, you start with the foundation, and then you frame the house, and then you put the roof on it, and then you wire it and plumb it, and put the walls up, and the carpet goes in. And I mean, it's a process, but it's not an instant house. But we want that instant house. So how do we manage wanting something like that? The reality is you already have it. Okay, the reality for Jenna is she already is a top photographer. Time and space, she already is the acorn. Okay, she already is the oak tree. All she needs to do is align her energy and her actions and her business model to grow and become what it is with that. And the same is true for any relationship that we're in. Okay? We can already have, even if we're single, we can already have the perfect relationship when we are focused on creating the conditions every day for the perfect relationship to come. So the more we practice our REAL, the more I'm going to attract the relationship to me. And then it's just a matter of time and space and the right person coming along, because the environment is already set. Okay? So it works that way for everything. And it's just a matter of, do we have the patience? Can we be at peace in the process between A and B? Can we be in the peace of the healing and movement and preparation and reevaluating and clarity to go, this is okay. I don't need things to blow up, you know, or everything to be here at once in order to feel a state of contentment or success. Can we feel successful doing the small things? Can we feel successful just creating conditions for the small things? If we can, that's the magic. That's the key. Because then we'll never get tired of doing it. So what else is going on out there that we can talk about to help y'all?
Well, I was liking what
Jenna.
what she was saying, because she has all the ideas. You know, when she was talking about the pictures and the time, she has it. She has everything. She just I can understand when she says it's that pace, because when she doesn't, she thinks it's so big that she stops herself from going to the next step.
It overwhelms her.
And you,
Sure.
you said it, because she's probably a great photographer.
Sure.
You know, I mean, she. When I listen to her, my daughter does video production. She's awesome at it. When she does it, it's incredible. And one thing I have to always explain to her, and sometimes to my wife, is that whenever she gets it down for her, it should be awesome.
That's self-confidence.
Yeah.
You have to be a believer in what you do, what you have to offer. Because if you're doing something, it's like a pro athlete. If a pro athlete doesn't believe that he can do this, he ain't gonna get around to it.
Right.
I mean, you know, take a baseball player. That's the hardest thing to do. Hit a round ball with a round bat, hit it square.
Mhm.
And if you can't master that, if you don't have if you don't have the mindset that yes, I can master it, I can do it, you're gonna last it.
And that's a very important point. Thanks for bringing that up, you guys, because if we don't believe that what we want is possible or is out there, then we're going to get very quickly depressed and disappointed with what we're doing, because we don't believe it's out there in the first place. But a pro golfer believes that pro golfers exist. Okay? A pro golfer believes that there are optimal ways to hit the ball, and the optimal club to use, and the optimal approach, okay? And I'm not even a golfer. All the things that a golfer needs to consider to believe that I can be a professional golfer. Why? Because professional golfers exist. I can be a professional photographer and get paid well and compensated. Why? Because top photographers already exist. I can have a great relationship. Why? Because millions of people have great relationships. I can survive a divorce. Why? Because millions of people get divorced every year and do okay, survive it. It's not the end of the world. You'd be surprised by the amount of people that go through a divorce, and I think it's natural, and think that it's the end of the world, that they'll never recover, that their kids forever will be products of a broken home, okay? When all that is BS, so long as I approach it from a different perspective, okay? So you have to believe that what you want is out there. Whether it's something business-minded, whether it's money, whether it's a car, whether it's a talent or a gift, a relationship, health. If I don't believe it's ever possible to get better or become more healthy, then I will have no motivation to do it. Or any motivation I do exercise will be very limited. So I've got to believe it first. And I've got to know that I can do it. And that's why I love this magazine, my Rob Report magazine.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it.
Because it's got, I don't know, there's a Grand Patron tequila. I don't know how much that is, but it's probably a couple $100 at least just for that. Okay? Maybe more. I don't know. You know, there's a Porsche, okay? So this magazine is evidence to me that whether I ever get something in this magazine ever, okay, is irrelevant to the motivation and inspiration that it gives me to go that, wow, there's $100 million yachts out there. There are companies that build $100 million yachts. There are people who buy $100 million yachts. There are people who sell $100 million. There's a whole industry around $100 million yachts. And is it good that there are $100 million yachts in the world? I say yes.
Sure.
You know?
You ever been with John Perry? Riverside Road? Towards, it's supposed to be. You know, I had the referee at this church.
Johnson's Ferry Road.
And I take the scenic route through the streets, and I think I ride by this house because I refer like twice a week, and every time I drive by this house, I'm amazed that somebody lives there. I mean, it looks like a school building. And my wife, every time I said, she said, Dave, every time you go by that place, you call me. Because I said, it's real. I mean, I see a little basketball and there's people like that.
Have you ever seen the people?
And they're normal, and they're normal people, you know?
I'm just, but it exists.
Yeah. And there's a whole industry around it. Everywhere. So that's the thing. We have a choice. We can either choose to see scarcity through our very limited view, our limited lens, and think, I can't, I won't, I'm not supposed to, I'm not good enough, nothing ever works out for me because this happened and that happened, or somebody did this or somebody's doing that. And that steals all of our joy. And that becomes the conditions we start to set, or those kind of conditions, and then we wonder why we keep attracting the things we're attracting, and the reasons we feel stuck in the pain, you know, we can't move out, we don't feel like we're any movement. When we set ourselves free, the instant we realize, when we honor what we want, see, that is honoring what we want when I say, I want a new car. Okay? And it demonstrates self-respect for me if I say, I want a new car. This is the type of car I want. And this car is already mine, and I intend to go out and manifest and create the conditions for me to purchase or receive that car into my experience. Okay? It demonstrates disrespect if I say, I want a new car, and the only new car I can have has got to be a 1982 or earlier with 250,000 miles on it, and it's already beat up, because I can never afford a different car, and there's no different car out there for me, and I've always had money problems, therefore that's the car I should be driving, okay, because I would never take on, you know, a $50 car payment to get something different because I was, you know, I've always been taught that, you know, I shouldn't, okay, or that I should feel guilty, or I should be content with the pre-1982 car. That should be enough for me, okay? Well, and that's my point. With that kind of attitude, I'm automatically going to limit what I create in my experience, and I'm going to create more of it because I'm looking at everything around me that's bigger than the 1982 and before car, and I'm feeling jealous and, you know, and shaming and pointing my finger at other people who shouldn't have that because I don't have it. Therefore, nobody should have it, and it shouldn't even be out there. All of that money on a 1992 car could be spent to save the starving children in China. Okay, but I mean, if you go down that loop, you go down that loop, and there's no getting out of it. So the very best thing you can give yourself is to honor, know what you want, honor your preferences. What are your personal preferences? For anything physical, for anything spiritual, for things emotional, for things in a relationship, whatever your personal preferences are, get really clear about those. And then you honor those preferences by giving yourself permission to have them. And then permission to go after them. And then permission to put a boundary around it. And then a permission to talk about it. And permission to create a new story around it. And permission to allow other people to have their own opinions about what you want, and it doesn't matter what other people say. And by doing that, you start to get into a very strong vibrational mode that says, I respect myself, I know what I want, I'm clear about what I want, I can have what I want, what I want is already out there in abundance, and can come to me in a multitude of ways, expected and unexpected.
Well, if you're vibrating like that, you're going to attract something that's like that.
Absolutely.
That's like we discussed before. If you're vibrating negative, you're going to attract negativity.
Absolutely.
And you can't vibrate and expect something positive if you're being negative, because it's just not going to come. If it does, it's going to come, but you know what? In a short time, it's not going to be a compatibility thing.
Right.
Because you will start,
Yep.
If you're the positive and they're the negative is going to start feeling even worse about it. Because
Right.
they're going to look at you and like, wow, you're so confident and all that. Maybe I just don't deserve you. Or maybe you sure you deserve it. You deserve, everybody deserves everybody else.
Right.
But it's that mindset that messes everybody up.
Yeah.
I know. Believe me.
And that's where scripting comes in. Scripting is writing as if we already have what we want, with the end result in mind. And it's about having a book that you write in that looks nice, that feels good. You have a dedication in it. And you dedicate the space. This is space, sacred space, for you to get really clear about who you are, about what you want, about the conditions you want to create, about the things you want to manifest, the relationships, the success, the health, family, health, work, money, and spiritual growth. And by scripting about those things and getting really clear and positive about what you want, scripting helps you align your thoughts, words, feelings, and actions that are in alignment. Because if I want a new car, my thoughts, words, feelings, and actions need to be in alignment and vibrating with the new car that I want. That's how I find it. That's how I'm being divinely led to it. That's how I test drive car A, car B, and car C. That's how I know what I want. And then it teaches me to, then by honoring what I script, by practicing it, and after I've written it, I speak it out loud and I put that vibration out into the universe, I'm creating powerful conditions to attract what I want or to create positive change. If I'm feeling stuck, I can script about feeling stuck. Dear God, thank you that right now I feel stuck. Even though I feel stuck, movement is happening and more movement is possible. I am being divinely led, even though I feel like my movement is very slow. I am open to insight, inspiration, dreams, revelations, visions, conversations, emails, internet articles, TV shows, magazines, friends, conversations that give me deeper insight into where I am and to where I want to be. I trust myself. I allow myself to be where I am. I allow myself to be open for healing, restoration, clarity, preparation, reevaluating. Is there something I need to reevaluate? I am open to reevaluating it. Even if I don't know what it is right now, I trust that I'm being divinely led to it, and in divine time and order it will come to me. So see, I just scripted about all of that. It's okay for me to be where I'm at. I can respect my pace. I love my pace. My pace is mine. I have a right to it. I claim it. And my pace can be whatever I decide or choose it to be. If my pace today is slow, I allow it to move slow. If my pace today is fast, I allow it to be fast. Either way, I am in the flow, going downstream, and I release and let go of any limiting thoughts. And so you can apply that type and that framework of speak the way I just spoke by writing it. And I can speak that way because I've practiced for over 10 years writing that way or learning how to write that way. I didn't start out writing that way. Okay? But that's another benefit of scripting. By the practice of scripting and you're writing it down physically in a book and you're exercising your writing skill, your writing energy and your mental energy. I'm creating it spiritually and then I'm creating it physically, at least on paper. I am practicing that lifestyle. I am practicing that belief and I'm reinforcing it. And so as you grow that skill and develop that skill, not only will your scripting be powerful, but your own mental affirmation will be powerful. You'll be driving to work, and instead of, you might not have time to script about something, but you may be driving to meet a new client. And in your head, you can go through 10 affirmative paragraphs in a 10-minute drive that says, I am confident, blessed, and favored today. I have attracted this client into my experience. I radiate peace, love, and joy and success. They love me. I love them. I am open to creating the best deal. The house that they want is already out there, and God is working behind the scenes already to prepare that house for them. And I have been chosen, and I accept that being chosen as their agent to find a new house for them. In fact, I already have some in mind. Or ones are coming. They may be getting listed right now in this moment. Okay? And so I can talk and build up my energy in a 10-minute car drive between A and B as if I've already scripted it. And then boom, I release and let go. I open the door. Hi, how you doing? I'm Christine. Let's get you a house. Or let's sell your house. The buyer's already out there. You know, and boom, you just vibrate. And people will feel that magnetism. You already know that, right? People sense that energy.
Yeah, you know when they're with you.
Yeah.
And you know when they're not.
Right.
And when they're not, then you have to readjust the way that you're approaching them and figure out where's the disconnect. Am I being too pushy? Am I not being aggressive enough? Am I not letting them talk enough and express how they... So you really have to keep your eyes and ears open through the whole process.
You're doing a constant measurement, aren't you? You know, do I need more of this or less of that? Right? Is my client more of this or are they less of that? And now that I have the gap measured, how do I demonstrate my responsibility and show up in a way that creates conditions for my clients to have this experience? Christine's really good at that. That's why she's so successful with what she does. But these principles can be applied in any situation you've got going on in your life. Even if it's just you. Even if it's your own spiritual growth, these principles apply. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about tonight?
No questions.
Okay,
You
Danielle.
said something earlier when you were talking to Jenna. She was talking about caring for herself, and you said that counts towards your business. That counts towards working in your business. That's something that I deal with a lot because the majority of my time is taken up caring for my family and my children, and I don't want to sacrifice that time. I don't want to do less of that. But it leaves very little time to do other things. But I've always told myself, this has to still count towards my goals. It has to still count.
Sure.
So hearing you say that was, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Okay.
Sure.
I just wanted to be sure, because I was like, okay, that's what I've been telling myself.
Because remember, and thank you for sharing that and reminding us of that, because it's the whole person approach. Okay? Because if our only focus is on business, we're going to miss out on family. Okay? If our only focus is on family, okay, we can be sucked in and drawn in and consumed with managing small details in our family and miss opportunities to be able to take care of other details for our family. So it's the whole person approach that we're interested in. And that's why nothing is separate. There's a spillover effect with everything. Business success, business actions and impact have a spillover effect on the family. Family actions and energy and activities and what's happening in the home has a huge spillover effect into the business world, and it can impact business decisions. So, again, it's not about a balance so much as it is being present, knowing what you want, deciding what's important to you, and then creating time and space for energy and actions in each one and being fully present in each one. And in Grant Cardone's, to be obsessed in each area when you're there. And taking that time to do that.
You said that you have children to take care of. You're in this, I guess life it goes in stages. This is your stage now, you're raising your children, so it's going to take a lot of time out of you. And then as they get to be up and about, they'll be able to sustain themselves, and then your time will change into other things. But right now, you're focused on the family issue. And that's one of the things that goes with, you can actually, you can try to make time for other things, but your priorities are what? Your family, right?
Yeah.
So that's your focus at this time. As time passes, things will change.
Sure. Yeah, I've done both. Like I've worked, I said, well, it's more important to help the family financially, so I've worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And it just didn't feel right.
Right.
It didn't feel good. I wasn't glad that I did it. You know, after a year, I was like,
You're losing that family.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You can't, that's something, you can always go back to work. And make
Right.
money. But that, at this time, you lose it in, because I lost that with my son after I got divorced. I lost the quality time of being with him. I only spent like, one day a week and a week and a half, so we kind of lost that. But, it kind of gravitates into it now. Like you said, you said priorities. You said
Yeah.
family is a priority. That's the choice that you chose to make.
yeah.
You can always go back to work.
And choice is the key word. Choice is about the 100% responsibility. We have a choice in any present moment to decide where our energy is, what our words are, what our actions are, to create what we want. And taking responsibility for that choice and allowing and giving ourselves permission to feel contentment and peace and joy about our choice is up to us too.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, now my affirmation is that I want to manifest a way to earn $10,000 a month, spending time with my children, a passive income,
Right.
something that's just flowing while I'm doing what I really love, 'cause
Right.
it goes by like that,
Sure.
and you miss a ball game, and you miss a recital, or you miss a talent show, and that hurts. That's
Sure.
like a, knife in the gut. You miss a meeting with a client, you don't care.
Right.
There's no attachment there. So, I mean, I'm adamant about not missing a second.
Right.
With them, but I know it's possible to earn passive income, to be with them,
Sure.
and still be earning money while I'm with them. It was just adjusting my
Right.
mindset.
Absolutely. There you go.
You know what I have learned? I have learned that because I don't balance for the family, the job. Once you start, there's no balance.
No,
That's what I say, yeah.
there isn't.
It's not about balance.
Because the balance you give to your work is not the same balance you give to your family.
Of course not.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say, man, I'm trying to balance it out. You can't. Once you think like that, it's when you should set yourself for failure. And, I was in the service, and my wife was a maid. I never missed any of my daughter's things. And I was on the ship. But I knew what was important to me.
Right.
And I always found a way. Even now, my wife said I'm always busy. She said, you always find a way to do something. You always do something. But I know that it's it's my importance for me. And because I had this person said to me, he says, David, people always make time for things they want to do.
So true.
Yeah.
Because he says,
And that's true with money too. People will find money, will spend money on whatever they choose to spend their money on. Some people will say, no, I'm not going to spend $3 on a tea, but I will spend $6 on a cocktail. Okay?
Priorities.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's how people roll. And that's why I say the ultimate thing is we always have choice. Okay? And the choices we value and the decisions we make, because here's the thing, there's another opportunity too to teach the children that, you know what, when I'm not here, I'm still taking care of you. And I'm still loving you, because in order to have the house, in order to get you to the game, requires mom or dad to be out in the world, in the abundant universe, making money in order to do all those things. So I'm not here physically, but I'm here with my love, and my intentionality and my energy still matters. So and that creates an opportunity for you to teach them that value as well. So thank you, everybody. Here's the thing. Practice, practice, practice taking 100% responsibility. Exercising radical trust in where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. Believing that even if you're experiencing these emotions, that things are still happening. Get to clarity about why. Start to think about what is needed and the time and space in order to shape and create the conditions for what you want. And then use scripting as a valuable tool to help you get clear, peaceful, and confident and aligned with what you want so that you can manifest it into your experience. Each one of you is a powerful creator. I already know that. Go out and create what you really want. Thank you, everybody, for coming.